Breaking news from the White House now. President Biden announcing a plan to pardon federal offenses of simple marijuana possession. NBC News correspondent Josh Letterman is in Washington tracking this story. So, Josh, this announcement just came a few minutes ago from the White House, along with the proclamation. What have we learned?
Well, Aaron, this is the most significant move by the Biden administration to date to loosen federal rules on the use of marijuana. President Biden signing that proclamation this afternoon that will pardon all of the individuals who have federal charges for simple marijuana possession. The White House estimating there are about 6,500 people who fall into that category. He also wants governors to do the same for state-level marijuana possession charges because the vast majority of people who get arrested for using marijuana, it happens at the state level. But then he also is directing both the Attorney General and the Health and Human Services Secretary to expeditiously review whether marijuana should remain Schedule I under the Controlled Substances Act, which is the highest level. It's the same as things like heroin and fentanyl, which President Biden says makes no sense, particularly because that classification has really prevented the use or research of marijuana as a potential medical treatment. The president saying in a video, as well as in a statement he has posted to Twitter, that sending people to jail for possessing marijuana has upended too many lives for conduct that is legal in many states. The president noting the racial disparities in the number of people charged with marijuana crimes and saying, today we begin to right these wrongs. Aaron?
Today we begin to right these wrongs.
So, Josh, this gets at what the executive branch can do here, but the president's been under pressure to do something about marijuana laws before the midterms get here. Walk us through that. Where's the pressure been coming from?
He's really been under pressure for years, Aaron, and this marks a shift by President Biden, who was the only candidate in the Democratic primary in 2020 to oppose full legalization. He supports a decriminalization, but not fully legalizing marijuana. Clearly, the president wanted to do something ahead of the midterms that would really show he was committed to making sure that people shouldn't be behind bars simply for possessing marijuana. But still, the president is making very clear that other marijuana laws remain in place. He says restrictions on, for example, trafficking marijuana or on selling marijuana to people who are underage, that those laws should not go up in smoke, Aaron.
What do you guys think? Breaking news. Man, this would have such an impact on all those young Black men and older ones that are sitting in federal prison for now, because this is on a federal level, right? It's not really on a state level, it's on a federal. So on a federal level, there are a lot of people sitting in a prison, especially Black and brown people, for simple charges. It's funny because this is big news. This is something that a lot of people have been really asking for, because there are a lot of young people that, got caught up for simple charges, and it became federal because of, the laws imposed on marijuana. But where does that leave us, and is this all positive? It's funny because it's like you damned if you do, you damned if you don't type of situation. And I have to say that, it's always a plus to see that there's an option to get a lot of our young Black men and women out of prison. But that's exactly what I'm saying. Is there a catch? There's always a catch. And that's the part. What's the catch? What's the catch? Because for me, nothing is free. There's always a string. But can you imagine those people that have relatives that are sitting in prison right now with simple charges on a federal level? Because again, and I'm sure that if on a federal level this is done, there are a lot of states that are going to, of course, rally behind the president and definitely do that. And probably more so in the future. But right now it's on a federal level, which is where a lot of our young brown and Black people are impacted. I see some of you coming in. I want to thank you for coming through. Please hit the like button, share. Let's get some folks on here because this is a message to our community, and we know that people are about to vote soon, so we know that this is definitely a power move. Is there a catch? Yes, it was the right thing to do, but it's a little too late, and it was truly political. Definitely political. But that's the thing, everything that folks do other than us, I mean, we're the only people moving on emotions. Everybody in the world is moving on, is strategically doing things. This is something that they probably already had lined up to do since January and scheduled to do it now because it's going to have more of an impact on people that are voting because how many people are going to be impacted by people that they know will be now, able to have this certificate that states that they're no longer illegal and also have the option to leave prison because of this. And Tiger says most folks, especially black ones, are convicted in state court. I thought it was quite the opposite for us, but that's interesting. You're right. I would assume that there are a lot of people that are going to be under the state level, but don't you think that there are a lot of states who will rally up behind him based on the fact that this is political? So I'm sure all the Democratic states, at least, that are behind Biden will probably follow follow suit. So if they decriminalize marijuana at the federal level, like he's just done, they're gonna actually stand behind him, the Democratic states, that is. And of course, the states that are already legalizing marijuana or trying to legalize marijuana, the number of folks convicted in simple possessions in federal court is minuscule. I think you're right. I think I saw that there was only 7,000. This is nothing. But again, do you think now these Democratic states, and I don't know, how many Democratic states do we have, y'all? Somebody put that in the comment section for me, will rally behind Biden on this? But I also wanted to talk to you guys about, I wanted to just say this in reference to that. Now that this is rolling out, it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder about the marijuana that is out there. And a lot of folks, I don't really partake in marijuana that much because I'm one of those kind of people that I need to know what's going on around me at all times. I don't focus well. I've tried it. I can't balance. I'm logical and it takes away my logic and I don't like that. But that being said, I don't have a problem with people that do. But how many people that are listening to me now have noticed that it's not what it used to be? And this is a conversation that I've had with a lot of people, that unless you're somewhere and you have old seeds that you've been planting since maybe the 60s or 70s, 80s and 90s, the stuff that's out there right now is not natural. It's not, I don't know what it is, but it's definitely something that I feel is having people respond a little different. And so I bought some clips. I wanted to share some clips on the thought in Africa regarding marijuana, or just something that I found, not the whole thought, because of course this cannot be the full thought pattern. And also some study around how it affects young people. Because you see, I think not only is it a power move for political reasons, but I also sense that there is something also larger at play, because if this becomes true, then a lot of folks will feel comfortable doing what they didn't feel comfortable doing. And how will that impact us as brown and black people? How will it impact us? All dope is bad, and FBA needs to stay away from dope. Just FBA, huh? Okay, I heard they're playing with these seeds. Ha ha. That's what I'm hearing too. I hear that they're playing, well, not just those seeds. We know that there's a lot of seeds that, and some fruits are missing seeds. So we know something is definitely at play. And so that's the part that frightens me or puts me or alerts me and makes me wonder, because most of these people are strategic. These people, when they put in things like this, they've already weighed in all the things that will be beneficial. So what's the benefit? What's in it for me type of thing? And whenever someone give you something, you have to ask yourself, what's in it for them? What did they what did they see that was in it for them that was going to be beneficial? So let's take this down. That's the news of it. Very interesting. A lot of people are happy right now. They're celebrating because this is one step closer to legalization, full legalization. Now, I was going to bring some history in about how and why marijuana became illegal. I want you guys to go do the research on that. It's quite interesting. It has a racist background, y'all. It has some commentary or some strings that have something to do with brown and black people. And it also is commerce. So brown and black people and money. Something strategic with that. So that being said, let's go into this clip that I found very interesting, coming out of Africa. Shout out to my African brothers and sisters. I know I haven't really done anything on Africa. I've just been so taken in by what's happening in Haiti. Please keep my people in prayer. Keep your people in prayer in Haiti. But let's look at this clip.
These are the code names given to an illegal drug in the country, but one that is readily available here in the streets of Nairobi. Over the years, the use or misuse of marijuana has become socially acceptable. And yes, even songs praising the drug are the norm in the airwaves. I spoke to a peddler, a consumer, and a psychologist just to understand why the use of marijuana in the country has become prevalent among the youth, as captured by a report by Nakada.
Cannabis is becoming socially accepted. Then the use is becoming more and more. People are also in the West, some of the countries have been legalized. And we know how our young people ape people in the West, yeah? Like the celebrities or the musicians or the movie stars who are using it. So you find that is almost becoming normal. Using bangi has become normalized. When you start using marijuana when you are young, yeah, below 18, before 24, then chances of being addicted to it are 1 to 6 times higher than a person who starts using it when they are older.
I want to understand what motivated you to start this business.
Madheami alikuwa pedi. Na nilikuwa cheki tu ni biz juu ilikuwa inatulisha. Alafu tena ile time madhe alikuwa anazishika. Mimi nilikuwa namlolia. Saa venye nilitoka tu ka fourth. Ilibidi madhe amedrop hiyo wera na mimi nimeichukulia one time teketeke unacheki.
Where do you get your stuff from?
Moyale Tanzania. That is the best grade wanadai huku hivi.
Oh, the best grade.
Yeah.
Oh, iko na grade?
Yeah, grade ni mingi manze.
Nieleze hiyo.
Kaa loko kuna zake grade okay, zenye mimi zishapitia kwa hii mkono yangu. Kuna grade 20 something za roko. Na shash grade 3 hivi.
Shash. Shash ni gani? It's upgraded form.
The upgraded. the upgraded one. Hii imekuja true juzi, hata haikuwa makitambo, haikuwa kuna ile ambao loko ile ya TZ si unaicheki, alafu tena kuna hiyo saa shash hiyo
How
fulani.
different is it?
Hey,
Weed, I thought weed is weed.
ina depend tu na THC, unaona tetrahydro ile content fulani ya the steam. Unajua kuna ile part ya dawa na ile yani the cure,
The stimulant bait.
yeah, unaona, na kuna ingine ile CBD and the tetra. Hii ya shash
Sorry,
ni
guys. Let me rewind so
upgraded.
you could hear what he's saying.
Okay,
Read what he's saying because that
hii
was
Weed
cool.
from.
Moyale Tanzania, na nilikuwa cheki tu ni biz juu ilikuwa inatulisha, alafu tena ile time madhe alikuwa anazishika ni mimi nilikuwa namlolia. Saa venye nilitoka tu ka fourth, ilibidi madhe amedrop hiyo wera na mimi nimeichukulia one time teketeke, unacheki.
Where do you get your stuff from?
Moyale Tanzania, that is the best grade wanadai huku hivi.
Oh, the best grade.
Yeah.
Oh, iko na grade.
Yeah, grade ni mingi manze.
Nieleze hiyo.
Kaa loko kuna zake grade ka okay, zenye mimi zishapitia kwa hii mkono yangu. Kuna grade ka 20 something za roko. Na shash grade ka 3 hivi.
Shash.
Eh,
Shash ni gani? It's upgraded form.
the upgraded one. Hii imekuja true juzi, hata haikuwa makitambo, haikuwa kuna ile ambao loko ile ya TZ si unaicheki.
I promise you, I didn't realize that so many people were smoking weed throughout the world. Like our young people are smoking weed in Haiti, in the Caribbeans, well, I knew in some Caribbeans, but on the continent in Haiti, but it's changing the mindset of a lot of young people. And that's exactly what I want to bring into perspective. And I want to address something in reference to them changing. I think marijuana or what they're smoking now, which may not be natural, which might be like somebody said, a seed that they're playing with. So this thing may not be as positive as it may have been maybe in the 80s or 90s or maybe early, I don't even think the 2000s was really great because I think it started making us get volatile. But that being said, I think it's having an impact. People are using it because there's so much stress. Young people are using it because there's so much stress, and it helps them not have to see the world clearly for what it is and all the things that are happening to them, especially in these poor nations like Haiti and Jamaica and the Caribbeans and in Africa. So this is how they're dealing with their situation, and it's needed more now because people have access to like social media. So you see, outside of how you're living, let's say in the spaces like Haiti and Africa, Caribbeans, or even in the hood in America, you see a certain lifestyle in your television, in your on your phones. You see a certain lifestyle out there that is so far from you. Sometimes the only way that you feel like you can feel as good as the people that you're watching and you're following is by getting high or drunk. And so my question is this really a good thing? I mean, I know we're not talking about legalizing right now. What's being talked about is basically releasing, and like somebody said in the comment section, I probably only 6,000 or 7,000 people are really covered under the federal, are basically federal affected by will be will benefit from this and be released or whatever. Only maybe 7,000 to 8,000 people, but legalizing something like this has also, or that itself will have more young people feeling more at ease about smoking weed. But what is out there? What is out there? What is out there? Is it natural, or is it something that's making our youth, our young people, less empathetic to each other, less familiar with their situation, their family? Is it tearing us apart? A lot of us have people or family members or children or nieces or nephews or uncles that we know smoke weed. When you look at them and you know these people, these avid weed smokers, some it's funny because you see it affects people differently. There are some people that smoke weed that we know that go to work every day, they're very progressive, they're whatever. And then there's others that it just seems to stop them from being excited about anything else. um, so we know that what is out there definitely has a different effect on different people, and I guess that's goes back to DNA and or what's in your psychological issues or not issues, or how it affects your DNA different than it affects someone else. But I was very interested to see that a lot of what you see is happening right now in Haiti, y'all. And it's I was trying to find a great clip to show, but I didn't have the time to do so. And I really wanted to just speak on this today. A lot of what you see in Haiti right now with a lot of the gang and the gangs and what are they doing? Kidnapping and drugs. It's marijuana. It's a lot of smoking of marijuana, and it's really gotten people to a point where they're looking at, let's say, what's happening on television or YouTube or whatever, and they're looking at their lives and they're supplementing it by not being sober, not having to wake up in a natural state in their situation. Just had me thinking about all kinds of things. It's funny how one thing, like watching that news clip, just triggered so much and made me realize, like, is this a good thing, or is this like a power move like we've never seen before? It was funny because it was a power move to remove it and have it impact so many people and have them go to jail for state levels, for some weed in their pocket or just something they're smoking, and there's just the size of a joint. You could get arrested in state level, and it was like, okay, so many brown and black men, young men and women are sitting in jail because of this. And that was the outcome. But the outcome of letting this not be something that is criminalized, especially with the breed or the type of stuff that they have out there now, is that like power move within the power move? I don't know.
Hiki. Alafu tena kuna hiyo saa shash hiyo
How
fulani
different is it?
Eh,
Weed, I thought weed is weed.
ina depend tu na THC. Unaona tetrahydro ile content fulani ya the steam, unajua kuna ile
Ah,
part
look
ya
what he said. He said Satch is more potent. It is upgraded. I guess it is genetically modified and has more THC. Huh, they know a lot about this stuff, huh?
dawa na ile yani the cure
The stimulant bit.
yeah, unaona na kuna ingine ile CBD and the tetra. Hii ya shash ni upgraded. Okay, siwezi get fit lakini I guess ni GMO kidesign.
Do you know that whatever business you're engaged in, it's illegal?
Hapo najua hata venye sahi iko illegal. Ni okay, watu wenye wako
He says, I know marijuana is illegal, but I sell it to people from all walks of life. If we took a vote on legalizing marijuana, it would win by 90%. I agree. I think so.
kwa gava wanaitumia, maboys wanaitumia, wamadha wanaitumia. Unajua mimi ni pedi na kuambia kitu yani iko ile mbogi makasi waamini watu official watu si ati kuchoma picha. So ama ndodhi tu siku moja si wadai tu tuende tuvotie hii kitu uone itapass na 90%.
Out there, people have done researches. The active substance in cannabis is what they call the THC, has been shown to have some medicinal properties. But with many other things that have medicinal properties, how you use it, how you consume it, then becomes a whole ball game altogether. It's not something as a country we have published or gone into that direction to look for that.
I know this is a serious video, y'all, but damn her hairline. I'm sorry.
What is it
Navuta.
that keeps you going for 3 joints every single day?
Navuta juu mi nikivuta kama ni job naenda job, hiyo job naifanyaga systematically sana. Hiyo job naifanya fit.
And so this guy is saying, I smoke well because it makes me work well and I feel good. It also boosts my confidence. You see what I was talking about? It boosts his confidence with women. I just have to smoke it. So if you feel like it makes you work well and it makes you feel good and it boosts your confidence with women, I guess you feel like you just have to smoke it. Otherwise, you're not doing all those things, huh? Wow.
Sana. Yaani venye kama sijavuta niende nifanye job sitaifanya. Kama venye sijavuta lazima nivute ndo nifanye hiyo job fiti. Unaget? So lazima nikae nikivuta plus inanipatia feelings fiti sana. Alafu for one thing nikwambie, nikivuta venye naipenda na juu naivuta nikionyesha pengine ni job mtu wangu. Nitafanya job hata wewe utakuwa fiti. Nikivuta inionyesha ni dem naenda katia dem. Mtu wangu hapo box hapo haezi ruka.
Has been talking for a minute and the translation is only one sentence. I know he's saying more. Wow.
Mbona saizi wavuta ama ndio inakupea?
Navuta saizi.
You're smoking now as we talk, yeah. Why?
Sindio, I'm smoking. So nakwambia because I want to, I feel like this is part of me. This is sakaizi weed in part of me. Acha nikuambie. I'm that addicted to weed.
That's what people in the streets think. It will enhance your performance, it will increase your sexual drive, it will make your intelligence to go up, and give you more stamina to do things. But what we know long term, cannabis can have issues with infertility. It reduces sperm count. Yeah,
So
very important to note.
very interesting. So it will reverse sperm count. I mean, I don't know. Has it had that effect here in the US? It seems like those folks be having a lot of children, but maybe the stuff that they are genetically modifying now do have that impact.
In intelligence, it reduces your intelligence because it's inhibiting your thinking capacity. People are not able to solve problems. There's delayed response to things. I'm sure you've seen guys who, like some of the guys who smoke, sometimes they have, they have delay response in responding to some issues. Drug use, no.
Now, I have seen that. I have known people that smoke weed, and you can they have a very delayed type of way of responding to things. I mean, seriously, there are some folks like that, but then there are some people that smoke weed that are just real apt to do things, and they move really fast. So it affects different people different ways, and that's the truth about it. So it's the way it affects you is based on your biology and your chemistry, and so it's really something. But at the same time, is this something you want to risk? Because it does affect people differently. So it could make some people move fast and make others move slow. And some people feel paranoid and some folks get relaxed. And now, is the difference the fact that people are using different types? Some maybe genetically modified, some not? I don't know.
No, it's a no. Yeah, it's a no at all. Because as I said, this is psychoactive substances and they are hallucinogens. Also the criminality bit of it. Yeah, if you are caught using marijuana, there are implications about it. Then it becomes a criminal. It's punishable by law. Yeah.
One thing I can tell you is I've seen quite a few burnt lips from what he just did. When it gets that small, you just gotta, maybe transport it to a bigger size or whatever. But yeah, bro, you're gonna have your lips are gonna be burnt. You're gonna have a little red, what's they call, a little red spot right there.
And that limits a lot of other opportunities in life.
That we have an application on my desk right now, the Minister of Interior, by some lunatic who is saying they need alliances to build a factory in Kenya that processes cannabis for pharmaceutical use. That you can imagine. I don't know how how much space we opened in our country for the devil to the extent that we have gotten here. Which government, just tell me, which government will accept those kinds of things? It will not happen. In fact, I agreed with my peers.
I bet you if the United States legalized and Europe legalized and China legalized and Russia legalized, it will happen. You guys will do whatever they tell you to do. And that's just the reality of it. Right now, he's saying, and I think this was done in 2019. Oh, yeah, it's right there on the screen. So, July 7, 2019, this man said it will not happen. But if their supreme powers tell them to do it, it will happen. And that's the sad part. This is not something that is not happening because we see it such a negative impact on our people, because there are so many things that are negative impacts on our people on the continent, in the Caribbean, in the hood, in the United States, and we still do it. It's not until others tell us what we can or cannot do. And I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yesterday, we wouldn't even respond to that letter. We'd want him to make an advance, and we will sort him out. It cannot work that way, because we must protect our children. We must protect our young people.
How is he making these? This is the statement. Like whenever I hear politicians or people that are in places of power, let's say in Africa or in places in power in the Caribbean, talking about protecting their people. And I'm not saying this is not covering all of them. It's a lie. Lies you tell, because for the most part, we're not making decisions to protect our people. And that's just the reality of it. Now, this decision that is being made by Joe Biden to do this, to decriminalize on a federal level, simple charges, and to release those folks. This is a political move. This is a power move. This has some positives and lots of negatives. And that's what I want us to pay attention to. And also, now more than ever, it's really going to be important that families start having get-togethers. We need to start really having the circle conversations we used to have back in the day. You know how we used to get in the neighborhood and just sit on a porch and talk to family members, and we need to start building that circle again, having that type of commune again with our children, with our loved ones, cousins, nephews, people down the block that we love. We need to start having that tribal type of relationship again, because there are going to be so many things that there are so many things already out there to divide us and keep us from being able to make cognitive decisions when it comes to the whole. I'm really realizing now that this is one other thing that will impact our community. We want them to decriminalize, but then we don't want to have a society where people our children are getting caught up in these genetically modified. Yeah.
Mentally, you will find people either when they are high or when they have not used, they can start showing symptoms like that are related to things like psychosis, where somebody becomes irritable, violent, or they might start saying they're hearing things or they're seeing people. You get? So that
Damn. And that goes along with, I've seen this, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've seen this in family members where they start smoking weed, and there's just weed. Now, I don't know if this is just weed or if stuff that is put in it, or again, that genetically modified, or is it just a natural that they are not chemically able because of their biology. It imbalances them and makes them become paranoid. That's that paranoia that turns into schizophrenia, that turns into all those things that causes our young people to lose a sense of their reality. And some folks look at it and you laugh, but you don't understand that it's like affecting the way their brain function. And so that, again, just like alcohol, just like anything that you take that affects you in that way. So
That is how the mental health comes in. People who use marijuana also have been shown to have high suicidal tendencies, have higher rates of developing depression, have higher rates of developing schizophrenia, and have generally, they are more anxious than other people. And also they develop what we call paranoia. You know, that extreme fear that cannot be explained, and they're always suspicious of people or things. Recovery is possible.
and that's another aspect of what it's funny because I had this clip, but it's in Creole, or that language that they speak in Haiti, and I couldn't share it because you guys wouldn't understand it, and there was no subtitles. But um, a lot of these young people, like there was this video that somebody was speaking to a lot of the gang members, and they have this based on what I was hearing, there is this sense of paranoia where they feel like their government is definitely against them. There's this sense of paranoia that they can't even trust their families, a sense of paranoia that look, this is the family that they have is the gang, nothing else. These are the only people that care for them. And these folks, they're, while they're talking, they're passing the blunt, they're smoking, and you have a sense that something has happened. There's a glitch in the system. Yeah.
Recovery is good, and people are able to pick up their pieces.
How the drug is smuggled in the country from Ethiopia or Tanzania remains the mystery to be unraveled.
So for me, and the reason that I wanted to share this is because I think this is a bigger conversation for our families, a bigger conversation for our community, and for our personal families, and not just families, but friends, our tribes, our ciphers to be having in reference to why certain people are leaning towards alcohol and drugs to be able to be able to live in this world, and that's really just not just about getting high. Some folks cannot sustain the reality of this dimension, and so for them, going to drugs or alcohol, or some folks are just addicted to the internet, or just becoming so distant and withdrawn from family. This is not healthy for us. I don't think it's healthy for anybody really, but for us in general, we are a people that socially, it's in all of our cultures, and I know some of us think we come from different cultures, which is probably true. Not going to debate that, but I don't think in any of our cultures that it's a natural state of being. And I think that what's not natural is to feel like I need to smoke something, drink something, get online and do something for us to feel whole, and or to be able to deal with the whole. Um, what are we going to do about it as a people? What can we do about it? It's one of the biggest things when the gang regime or ciphers out there, wherever they are definitely stimulated by a lot of this trying to self heal, or disconnect themselves from the reality that they're in, because that's really what you do. You wake up and you just don't want to see it, and so you do whatever you can do to stop seeing it, and it is your reality. um, I'm gonna finish this off with a clip that that I was listening to. Didn't finish listening to it. I hope there's no surprises, but just how weed, and just to put this out there for our community, because there are a lot of pros. There are a lot of heating. I don't want to get into, because to be honest with you, there's always the discussions about the pros and how it affects us, how it may have healing properties or and things like that. But I think that's the organic, natural state of weed. I don't think the people that are going out there buying weed from bozos or guys in a car or in somebody's house is really buying something that's healing. And I don't even think some of these dispensers that they have now are natural. I think they're genetically modified. So anything that you get, I mean, if you buy a grape and the grape is seedless, it's not natural and it will have unnatural effect on you. If you buy a watermelon seedless, it will have unnatural effects on you. Anything you buy that is not natural will have an unnatural effect on you. Um, and I really want us to pay attention to that more than anything. It's not even about the actual natural herb. It's more so about understanding that there is a lot of unnatural out there being used, not for the good.
Marijuana use during adolescence can lead to serious long-term cognitive impairment and an increased risk of severe psychiatric disorders, according to new research from the lab of Dr. Asaf Keller at the University of Maryland School of Medicine.
Children who start around pre-adolescence, 13 to 15 years of age, tend to develop very severe deficits, and these include a very high incidence of neuropsychiatric disorders like schizophrenia and attention deficit disorders.
And I want to ask you guys somebody, don't you know more people now that have psychosis or psychosis is in their family? People like everybody you know have somebody in their family that's dealing with something like bipolar schizophrenia or something like that. Not to say that there wasn't a lot of that in the past and maybe it was undiagnosed, but there seems to be more of it now and it's affecting us in a big way. What you see happening in Haiti, and I had a lot, and I keep going back to Haiti because I've been paying a lot of attention to it, but what I've seen happening in on that island has a lot to do with, I think, the 2010 earthquake. I think that did something to everybody's brain. And then, of course, the drugs that came in, and I have to say came in because these people can't afford guns and things like that. They have to be coming from people that are giving it to them because they can't even afford to pay for it. How are they getting these things? Come on, they have to be people that are putting it in there to have some effect. And why would the people be giving them free drugs and free guns? Come on. So that being said, the same thing goes for the communities here in the hood where folks are getting access to certain things. I remember I saw something not too long ago that in Chicago, these young people were saying people were dropping off these weapons and nobody was believing them until other reports came out, from people that were not them. And then folks started saying, so they were saying that satchels and boxes of weapons were being dropped off. I mean, do we believe that? Is that true? Was that really happening? Well, when you take a look at places like Haiti, where people are making $3, less than $3 a day, but they're walking around with artillery that cost thousands of dollars. And that you have a sense that this stuff is coming into them. They're not purchasing it. It's coming to them. Somebody that has purchasing power or bulk power is getting it to them, which is, I think, the same thing with drugs. And then you see the psychosis and you see the schizophrenia and you see the bipolar and you see the, because what's happening with the neurons or their brains are now being impacted. Yeah.
As well as long-term and permanent reductions in intelligence as measured by IQ tests.
In the study, researcher Sylvie Raver measured the brain activity of mice after exposure to low levels of marijuana during adolescence. Cortical oscillations measured in adulthood revealed the impact on the adolescent brain.
We found out that these oscillations, which are really important, like I said, for cognitive functions, but also for just more general sensory processing and motor planning and pretty much everything interesting that the brain does, these oscillations are completely abnormal in our mice that we expose to marijuana or active ingredients in marijuana during adolescence.
It is very worrisome, and it seems to be very specific to that age, because when we repeated that experiment in older animals that were beyond their period of adolescence, these animals had no permanent deficits.
Now that the link to cognitive
So the key is it has more negative impact on younger people than it does older people. But giving access to older people usually is giving access to younger people, because if your older people get access to it and become comfortable with the idea, it's just like when cigarettes are legal. You see young people with cigarettes, it's not a big deal. Oh, they're just smoking. Well, if this right here can affect people in this way, young people, and it could do more harm to young people, man. And this has been happening, and this is truly who we see being impacted. There are so many. I mean, every day you wake up and you watch the news and you're seeing our youth doing things that they would have never done maybe 30 years ago or 20 years ago, and you're like, well, what is happening? And it's that stuff, that modified, genetically modified stuff that's out there affecting them in so many ways. At least that is a component. There are some people that just have issues, but that those issues that they have become even more amplified, I'm sure, with alcohol and drugs.
impairment is clearly established, researchers will try to understand why and how it happens, which is key to prevention and treatment.
We know that adolescents undergo very drastic developmental processes, especially in the more frontal parts of the brain that are involved with decision making and higher cognitive functions. And we think that it is this developmental process that renders the brain particularly sensitive to any types of interactions with environmental factors such as marijuana.
As the public debates decriminalization and legalization of marijuana, it is sobering information for parents and teens to consider.
The pathology that occurs because of exposure at that age is irreversible. It is long-lasting.
Oh shit, did he just say irreversible? Oh my gosh. So it's irreversible. Now, I know that there are people that have stopped smoking weed or whatever, but the damage that is done, y'all, is irreversible. That's a lot to take in. So your brain, right? The damage that's done to the brain of that young person, and really they're focusing on the young people and how it affects young people. It's irreversible. So it takes you from, I mean, could you imagine? Let's think about how this person could have been a doctor, lawyer, scientist, engineer, or whatever. Great with music, great with whatever. This thing right here can take that away from them, and there's no way to reverse that. That is something.
And even complete cessation of marijuana exposure will not reverse these changes.
For the University of Maryland School of Medicine,
So he's like a complete. Even if your whole blood cells was to be reversed, and this stuff would be completely out of your system, would not reverse the damage that can be done. Wow.
I'm Larry Roberts.
So that's basically it, guys. I really wanted to wow, there are so many people that are excited about this news, and I am too. I'm really excited to see anybody, any of our young people, brown and black people, hey, even non-melanated people. For something like this, I'm just happy to see. I don't think jail is definitely not a place for people that are doing simple crimes now. But after the excitement of hearing that so many people can be pardoned and have a fresh start, the realization of what this thing does or how this thing affects our children is something that I wanted to come on here and share and talk about. And I agree with you 100%. It really all boils down to family. It really all boils down to family. There are too many things being thrown in so many different directions that the reply to all of it is family, our value system, our ability to actually sit and start having conversations with each other, forgiving each other for certain things, and being able to move forward and really start having time to really address a lot of the elephants that are now in our spaces. This is just one of them. We have so many, and we have to find a way to put aside all the externals and deal with the internal. Again, I really wanted to take the time to really address this, to come on here and talk to you guys about this, because I think, this is one of those things. This right here, what Biden is doing, is a power move. It's a political move, but it's also very, very important that we monitor this, because I feel like it's important that we reinstate some of the values that we have lost in our communities. And this is not just a statement that I'm saying about America. I'm saying it for us as a people throughout the world. I want to thank you all for coming through for me today. You have a blessed day, and please share, like, and leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this. And please take the time to really sit down and talk to your children, and really take the time to prioritize what's most important for us all. There's so much love here for you. Bless.